Okay, Mom, for my dorm, I'm thinking coquette meets poet core.
That sounds like a vibe. What do you need? And where do we get it?
Target. I already have everything on my mood board. A comforter, pillows, and a super cute floral lamp.
So you probably need a rug to tie it all together.
OMG, they have the perfect CMPC rug.
CMPC?
Coquette meets poet core.
Oh, okay. In that case, let's RTT.
Yeah, let's run to Target. You're getting it. Find your dorm inspiration and everything you need at Target.
Morning decisions. How about a creamy mocha frappuccino drink? Or sweet vanilla? Smooth caramel, maybe? Or a white chocolate mocha? Whichever you choose, delicious coffee awaits. Find Starbucks Frappuccino drinks wherever you buy your groceries.
Hi, I'm Ben Harper.
Hey, this is Brad Lukowicz. Hey, this is Lou Temple. You know me as Axel on The Walking Dead.
This is Smooth Best Henderson.
Hi, this is William Duvall, singer of Alice in Chains.
Hi, this is Jim Cuddy from Blue Rodeo.
Hi, I am Zach Ward.
Hey guys, it's Alexis Adoria, 7-time NHRA National Event Champion.
Hey, what's going on? This is Bubbles.
This is Ricky. This is Julian.
And you're listening to the Toddcast Podcast, baby.
The Toddcast Podcast
is powered by Citywide Mortgage Services, providing complete financing and mortgage services for residential and small commercial businesses. Visit them at citywidemortgage.ca.
Now, here's your host, Todd Hancock.
If you had the chance to be on a reality TV show, would you take it? I'm not sure that I would. If I did, I could definitely see myself pushing people's buttons and yes, kind of knowing full well that it's for the content, the salaciousness of it all. But don't you think that the constant being filmed would just be too much sometimes, like the camera's always rolling? It seems like something you'd never get used to, although it would be interesting, cooped up with so many unique people, some who really want the spotlight. You'd have, of course, diverse lifestyles and relatable stories, you know, the good things about reality TV. And I guess it would really kind of depend on which reality TV show we're talking about here, right? You may not want to jump on Survivor and compete physically and mentally with the challenges as you try, you know, to build shelters all the while and find food and everything else. And maybe it's not the Amazing Race, the teams of two that globetrot again, doing mental and physical challenges, unfamiliar cultures. Maybe you don't know the language. You're racing against the clock. It's straight up nightmare fuel for some people. And it might not be the Naked and Afraid. Again, it's two strangers. Usually it's a man and a woman. They're stranded on a remote wilderness somewhere. No clothes, no shelter, no food, minimal tools for 21 days. I mean, they could have called this show Bear Food as the title. But if you're talking about maybe a cooking TV show, now that I would be down with big time. If I wasn't in broadcasting, 20 years in radio, we're coming up on 10 years in this podcast, I would have gone down that road as the aspiring chef. But to even those types of shows, I guess, they seem like there's maybe some scripted scenarios and certainly manipulated drama. I mean, there's no way around that, right? Scenes being showed out of context, distorted realities and, you know, distorted authenticity. The good ones don't have that, but some do. So think about that, right? When you're racing against everybody else for TV ratings, an executive might be more inclined to have questionable ethics, exploit contestant vulnerabilities, look for shock value to show the world. That's the ugly side of reality TV. Personal conflicts between people on the show, created, sometimes, as mentioned, manipulated, for me, for you, the viewer, in this case. And this week, an alum of the Real Housewives of Toronto, she was portrayed as the villain, but in reality, she is an absolute sweetheart. She wrote a book called Most Hated. Cara Alloway is on the Toddcast this week.
Oh, you absolutely do. You think you'll never forget that you're mic'd, and you think you'll never forget that the cameras are on. And that's a page in the narrative of my novel. The main character sitting in a limo with her husband, and she's talking away, and then she's like, oh, shit, I forgot the mics are on. The mics are hot, because the mics are always hot. Even if you're not being filmed, someone always has a headphone on listening to you. You're always being recorded. The mics are always hot. And I thought, I will never forget that. But of course you do. And you let your guard down and you go, oh, I can't believe I have to do this today. All right, blah, blah, blah. And whether or not that makes it to the show is not important. What it means is someone's always listening.
Kara saying you do get used to it, but I don't know. I don't know that you could get used to being filmed constantly 24/7. Anyway, regardless, joining author and Real Housewives of Toronto alum Kara Alloway this week. He plays wide receiver for your BC Lions. They're gunning for another Grey Cup. He's talented. He's got tactics. Lucky Whitehead is a guest.
Yeah, no, it's been solid. It's been great. Everyone's been obviously healthy. Tough. Last 2 games been tough. It's kind of started way too slow, but overall, it's been great, man. We've been in the driver's seat, so it's been nice.
There's Lucky talking about his thoughts on the 23 season so far. A solid week planned for you as a reality TV star, a professional football player, and coming up, our musical guest is one of rock's elites, and you will hear from him in just a second. My name is Todd Hancock. Thank you so much for joining us again this week. We know that there are plenty of choices, and I'm chuffed that you're here. Chuffed. I was telling my kids that that's a word that the English use for being super excited about something. They were laughing about that, using chuffed for days on end. But we are part of the Realm Network as well, based out of New York City, the Big Apple. You can check those guys out at realm.fm for more. Okay, Stop Me If You've Heard This Before is also coming up, maybe 10 minutes from now. This week, new to the UFC, signing a contract with Dana White's Contender Series. Heavyweight fighter Caio Bigfoot Machado talks about what stands out from his first pro fight. That is powered by our friends at FKP MMA. This is where Bigfoot trains. Learn self-defense, build your self-esteem, meet new friends as well, get fit doing it. My youngest, Levi, has been going for about 1.5 years now. He's a tough little kid, loves going, and you will too. Find out more through Vancouver's #1 training destination, fkpmma.com. So first, as mentioned, our first guest of 3 from one of Kentucky's hardest rockin' bands, one of my current favorite bands, Black Stone Cherry, and a visit from guitarist Ben Wells. This actually almost happened about maybe 4 or 5 years back. I was talking with my good buddy Dave Brenner, who's, of course, in theory of a dead man. And I can't remember where we were, but Dave was like, dude, you got to get one of the guys from Black Stone Cherry on your podcast. They're such a good group of guys. They're, of course, a great band. I was like, dude, hook it up if you know them. And I never really kind of followed through with, and bugged Dave about setting that up. But regardless, it's happening now. And, of course, you'll know Black Stone Cherry from being from Edmonton, but not that Edmonton, where the best hockey player on earth plays. The Edmonton in the States, in Kentucky. Southern rock band, crushing drums, deadly riffs, great singer. They formed back in 2001. Can you believe that?
We just celebrated our 22nd anniversary last week. Wow. We started in 2001. Chris and I were 15 years old. And the other...
Like went to high school and shit together?
Yeah, those guys went to school together, and I lived in the next town over.
Okay.
Met on the day before Chris's birthday, we met, and they'd already been kind of jamming together. And then I met them. I was looking for dudes to play in a band with. They were looking for somebody else to add to their little jam group, Yeah. And because we were all at the same age, wanting to dedicate our lives to music, and it's hard to find 15-year-old dudes and kids that want to do that, like dedicate your life to something versus going out to the movies or going to party. You know what I mean? That wasn't even our thing. Our thing was just, let's lock ourselves in a house and write some songs. And we all had the same mindset. And then the day after we met, we formed the band.
Pretty cool to hear about the formation of Black Stone Cherry, hey? I think we talked with Ben for just over a half hour, which you can see right now at our YouTube channel. It's a slow grind to 1,000 subscribers, things that sound dirty that aren't. I think we're just over 900 subscribers now. So if you haven't already, please subscribe. We're trying to hit a K. All of our interviews, live performance videos that we do at our shows for the Blue Light Studio, East Vancouver, they're all up there. You can hear the full interview with Ben right now at our iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, Megaphone accounts. All of those are, of course, at Toddcast Podcast. Big fan of Black Stone Cherry. Really good to talk with Ben about all sorts of things, too. We got into aliens, high school, playing the Royal Albert Hall, crappy jobs that he's had. Elvis Presley came up, and his love of Aerosmith. His first concert.
My first big official concert was Aerosmith in 1997.
Wow.
In Nashville, Tennessee.
So 90. What album would have that been touring? Do you know?
9 Lives.
9 Lives. Okay, like Pink.
And Falling in Love is Hard on the Knees, and
Yeah.
great songs on there.
What's some of their best stuff, do you think?
I love everything Aerosmith. I mean, I get in certain moods sometimes. I'll listen to a lot of the 70s Aerosmith, obviously, like Toys in the Attic and Rocks are just incredible albums.
Right.
And Get Your Wings. And then I'll get into the mood where I want to go to the 80s era and listen to the classics, Pump and Permanent Vacation.
Yeah.
Dude,
the Permanent Vacation was like, it was such as just a, it was almost like clear. You just restarted that band, right? Like Permanent Vacation.
That was
massive.
That was their mega comeback. Loving It later and Janie's Janie's Got a Gun. Yeah, Jamie's Got a Gun. Fantastic songs. But one of my favorite albums to this day is Get a Grip, which that came out in 1993.
And that's like Eat the Rich and all that.
It was like a greatest hits album. Crying, Crazy, Eat the Rich, Amazing. There's so many great songs on that album.
So many, yeah. And what still stands out from your first concert seeing them?
I remember just staring at them on stage, but then also transporting myself thinking, wow, this is so cool because they're playing this show, then they're getting on a bus and they're going to another place and they're going to do it again. And then they're going to do it again. I was like, what's going on backstage right now? Those are the kind of things that were in my mind that I was so interested in,
Mm-hmm.
I wanted that lifestyle. That's what I dreamt of, And so, not only taking in the show and just being enthralled that I was looking at these famous musicians on a stage, but also like, what's going on afterwards? Where are they going tomorrow? I love that.
Love that story. Quite the first concert. Of course, no doubt Ben gets pulled into that world. And we did talk about tour life a lot and some good stories there. Talked about golfing while on the road touring. We talked about comic books, Batman and Deadpool. Ben shared a near-death driving story. Talked about playing Download Festival with Guns N' Roses and his love of the Cincinnati Reds.
Love the Cincinnati Reds. I like college basketball, Kentucky Wildcats.
Yeah.
So are teams in this house for sure.
Are you watching any of the NHL playoffs? You give a shit about that or no?
My wife's been to, she saw the Predators play a couple years ago and loved it, but I've never been to a hockey game. I got to do that.
Really?
I know. I got to do that. I feel bad for not doing it because I know I'd love it. But otherwise, no.
Yeah, it's great. And how's the golf game? Because I know a lot of like the guys in theory, man. Those boys can play, man.
I love golf, and I haven't gone in a long time just because of our schedule. And I don't like going out there and like being stressed and knowing that I've got to do something else or be somewhere else. Like, you know what I mean? That's the worst thing. If you're going to play golf, you need to have like nothing else to do for a little while. You know what I mean? You don't want to start pushing and be like, well, I got to get out of here. Let me like, then you stop giving a shit and
sure, you're not really nothing like pushing your game and then suddenly sucking even worse than you should.
Yeah. But, I love playing golf. It's totally relaxing.
It's great to learn about the band members that you love, right? So Ben talked about his family as well, the differences of a European audience compared to a North American, binging Ted Lasso, Daisy Jones and Shrinking. And of course, we talked a lot about the band, right? The music, the tours, the new album, Screaming at the Sky, which is out this Friday, September 29th.
We wrote the majority of this on the road, I'd say last year. We were on the road a lot. And when we're out there doing that, we write a lot in the back of the bus or at sound check, So that's where a lot of it came up with because, we know we have to have an album ready at some point, but we're also touring that we kind of have to do two duties, do the live show and work. So we just wrote a lot of it then and we didn't pull from the well really on anything. We didn't want to. We wanted everything to be fresh and new and exciting and I'm super, super proud of this album. I think people are just I hope that they're gonna love it. I know we do.
Oh yeah, man. The songs you've released so far are Out of Pocket is such a fucking rad song, dude. Like,
thanks.
Holy crap, that's such a great song. Does the Tina Turner What's Love Got to Do with It? Does that make the album?
Yeah, so it's a bonus track for the album. We recorded that last June.
Yeah.
And I had no real intention of releasing it this early. Well, I mean, like I said, it was a bonus track, so it'll be on like a deluxe edition of the album. And then with the unfortunate passing of her, we talked to our management, and they were like, what if we released this as a tribute, and did it in a respectful way and donated our portions to domestic violence. So that's kind of where this came about. We didn't want to do it on the coattails of her passing, but we also wanted to put it out as a tribute and say, hey, thank you for great music. We obviously did this before, before you passed away. So we were fans before. We're not just trying to cash in. We're not cashing in anyway because we're donating our money, but we didn't want to get notoriety off of someone's death, so that's why we want to put it out in a respectful manner.
Red Truck Beer. You never forget your first truck. Official beer of the Toddcast podcast.
Chances Now, stop me if you've heard this before on the Toddcast podcast.
You heard heavyweight MMA fighter Caio Bigfoot Machado on the podcast earlier this year. At the time, he was fighting with the BFL, the Battlefield Fight League. And since then, this past August 8th, he fought for a spot in the UFC with Dana White's Contender Series and was awarded a contract. He has an exciting fighting style. It's going to be great to see him in the big show. And when Caio was a guest, we talked a lot about fighting and MMA, binging That 70s Show. We talked about family and marriage, seeing Flo Rida and Pitbull in concert, how COVID affected his overall game plan. He shared a scary near-death story. We talked about comic books. And stop me if you've heard this before, Caio talked about his first pro fight and what still stands out from that day.
I think the entrance scene coming into the cage, all that, the energy, the crowd. I was fighting amateur and like tournaments before, so it's nice, but it's not the same energy. You're not the center stage, and the fight itself I remember had a lot to learn after that. It was one of the situations when you kind of forget a lot of what you learn and you just want to knock your opponent out, and from that experience I had to start calming down again and understand how I want to play my game.
Sure.
But that energy that I felt that when I got into the cage, I can't forget for shit.
Stop me if you've heard this before on the Toddcast podcast is powered by FKP MMA, Vancouver's #1 training destination at fkpmma.com.
Here's Jody Quine and a new song for her called Waiting on Me, which I bet you'll see this Friday if you come to our next live show. So Jody is headlining the night, the Toddcast Blue Light Sessions at the Blue Light Studio, East Vancouver. This is a great little room. Oh my God. Super amazing vibes from the coziness of it all. Like we cap it at 60 people. So it's intimate. Like you're literally arm's reach away from the performers if you want to be. In this case, it's this Friday, Jody Quine, Charlie P.S., who you'll hear later on in the podcast. The last podcast, we played a song for her called Even If It Kills Me, which is creating some nice little buzz here on the west coast of Canada. But we'll play a different song from Charlie P.S., a new song for her in just a little bit. Oh, and tickets for that show, all podcast shows, in fact, are $20 through eventbrite.ca, BRITE.ca. And just search out Toddcast. You'll find out, what we're up to. Played a new song called Let It Be. This is from a new Vancouver band called 816. It's written out all in one word. If you remember a band called Pedwell, if that's ringing a bell, if you've listened consistently to this podcast over the years, you will know Pedwell because we've played the hell out of that band a bunch. In fact, their singer Bradley Pedwell is in 816. And the rest of the band are some of Vancouver's musical ninjas. The seed has been planted to perhaps do something with those boys in 24, which would be very cool because those, of course, great tunes, good guys. All right, coming up in maybe about 10 minutes from now with Listen to This, Headstone singer Hugh Dillon talks about his acting career and the importance of the movie Hardcore Logo. That is powered by longtime sponsors. We're talking 6 years plus, nothing but so much love for Tedco RV Supplies in Langley. Partially blame them for us being able to continue creating podcasts. So it's RV service, repairs. They are ICBC accredited. You can find them through, well, of course, their website, tedcorvsupplies.com, but they also mess around online on Facebook and Twitter at Tedco RV Supplies. First, let's get to the second of 3 Toddcast guests this week. It's our sporting guest, wide receiver for your BC Lions, Lucky Whitehead. That is powered by Hand Over Hand Textiles in Vancouver. Naturally dyed goods for your home, for your body. We're talking socks and dishcloths, bandanas and scarves and shirts and pillowcases. It's beauty. Great content. Pure plant extracts, natural fibers, the stamp of approval from Mother Nature. Locally owned, locally operated. Check, check. We all know the grind, right? Find them through handoverhandtextiles.com. So even if you're not truly into football, not a fan per se, and you live in Western Canada, chances are you'll at least know about the BC Lions. They've been around since 1954, the year my mom was born. 6 Grey Cup championships, a strong fan base. If you've been to a game, you know BC Place becomes electric at home. The ups, of course, the downs as well. The Lions are straight up. They're an institution in Canadian football history. So Rodney Darnell Whitehead Jr., Lucky Whitehead, the Coles notes, quick, he's speedy as hell, played high school football in Virginia, college ball at Florida Atlantic. He signed with the Dallas Cowboys in 2015. And yes, we did talk about the case of mistaken identity that led to him being released from the Cowboys. Wow. Lucky played on the Jets as well, the Blue Bombers, before coming to the BC Lions. And we talked to him about what he likes about being on the Lions.
I mean, everything's a great organization, great management. I feel like I'm at home. It's been fun. I got great teammates, been around. Obviously great connections and brotherhood. Mm-hmm. At the time when I came in 21, I had Mike Riley. And
yeah, Mike's been on this show. He's such a good guy, hey. I love that guy.
And as me and him kept talking, he would just telling me everything that a receiver wants to hear from their quarterback, right? And I knew what his plans was as far as trying to give me the ball, and that's such. So I was like, well, I know I'm trying to prove myself as a receiver. So and he's trying to give me that opportunity. I'm gonna come over here and try that out then. And obviously it was very successful. It was a great year for myself, and I mean, me and Mike was connecting on a lot of routes.
Yeah. It's nice when you drive like that with somebody, hey?
Yeah, man, and especially, I mean, obviously a great leader. I mean, a Hall of Fame quarterback in the CFL, and guy was super smart, super talented. So, I mean, I was just trying to give myself the best opportunity with a good quarterback. And at the time, that was Mike.
And of course, Michael Riley has been a guest retired quarterback of the Lions. He's been on this podcast. Great guy. And yeah, the Lions have just had a really good year. Like as a fan, it's just been a strong showing. And great to talk with Lucky for, I think it was about 24 minutes. You can hear it. You can see it. We jumped on Zoom to do it. It's all over our social media platforms, all at Toddcast Podcast on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, Megaphone. You can watch it at our YouTube channel. You heard about his dog being stolen and held for ransom. He tells that story in the full conversation. It's crazy. Like, what? Imagine your dog being stolen and someone telling you to pay X amount of money to get them back. Like, sure, buddy, where do you want to meet up? And I'll make sure I show up with like 10 buddies with me. So Lucky talked about the shows that he's binge watching lately, SWAT and Top Boy, great shows. We talked about cupping and how that helps him stay healthy. We talked about near-death stories. He shared one about a motor scooter. Wow. As you would expect, we talked a lot about football and strategy and what he thought were the biggest differences between playing in the NFL versus the CFL.
The field, how big it was. I realized when I was playing, a lot of my routes were short because I was with the waggle. I felt like I was running, I had a 10-yard route, but I felt like I already ran 20 yards. So a lot of my routes got cut short. And I just had to get better at that, figure that out, because like that whole waggle, you're back 10 yards, you're waggling. That's 10 yards. Then you got a 10-yard route. I got to go another 10, but I just felt like I ran so much that I was always short on my depth. And then like the field was so much bigger. So like when I ran punt returns in the NFL, obviously the field's a lot smaller. When I got to Winnipeg and did it, it was, you got a lot more field. You don't need to cut it up so soon. So I was figuring that out and learned it. But once I learned it, you know what I mean, it slowed the game down.
Interesting. How so?
Well, I didn't, because at first it's just obviously it's just flying bullets out there when you're doing punt return or kick return or offensive defense, whatever. But once you know that you got more room, right, you don't got to rush everything, and that's what I felt like I was doing my first year up here. I felt like I was rushing everything when I had plenty of time and I could be more patient. And once I got that and started figuring the game out, everything that was happening in front of me was slower.
Man, it's really cool to hear someone who kicks so much ass talk about the differences between the two leagues, hey? So we talked to Lucky about family. We talked about realizing potential, his love of Fortnite and video games, seeing 50 Cent in concert.
Yeah, I was probably like 12 maybe.
And that would have been like the Get Rich or Die Trying, or what was
that's when he was all about his G Unit and wearing his vest and that was super fun. My mom was a big super 50 Cent fan, and I thought his music was great as well. So she took most of us out there, and we had a great time.
Yeah, I mean that must have been a mind blower for a kid that age. Like it's pretty young.
Yeah, no. What do you after the season stuff? Yeah.
Like what do you specifically remember from that night? Like what still stands out?
I remember him like coming out from the back with his vest, his G Unit vest, like the bulletproof vest, and like not being in my seat at the right time, but we kind of heard him. But then you could see the big screen, so we all like kind of just jetted back to the seats just to see.
The Toddcast podcast is powered by Milano Coffee, bringing you the finest espresso and coffee concepts in the world. Online at milanocoffee.ca. Now, listen to this on the Toddcast podcast.
If you're a fan of rock music, you'll know Headstones, formed in Kingston, Ontario back in 1987, immediately making a name for themselves as one of Canada's best live bands, selling out shows across the country until, that is, they called it quits in 2003. And then their singer Hugh Dillon's acting career started taking off. The band eventually reformed in 2011, and now they're 10 albums deep. Their latest, called Flight Risk, was released last year in October. And when Hugh was a guest, we talked about comic books, Marvel and DC, marijuana's legalization, his love of the tragically hip, his first concert, the music that was in his house as a kid growing up, binging Narcos and how crazy good that series is. And Hugh talked about acting in Hardcore Logo and its importance for him getting into acting and traveling down that path. Listen to this.
Oh, it was everything. I had, it taught me everything. I was, Callum Rennie is, I think the greatest actor in this country. And all those years ago, and I'll tell you why, because he's just got great instincts. But when somebody is not threatened and can teach you, that is the sign of greatness in my mind. And I wouldn't realize it till years later. Mm-hmm. But that guy and Bruce McDonald, brought me into this world with actors and technicians and just really creative, generous minds. It was such a great way in, because the business isn't always like that. It can be, about the money, and it can be about egos and so many things that could turn you off and you just wouldn't pursue it. Because obviously I pursued, when I was younger, I had a dramatic arts teacher at KC where I went to school with the guys in the hip who just said, you should get into acting. And I just couldn't, I loved rock and roll. Music was the only thing for me at the time. There was just too many rules and too many opinions that other people had with acting that I just thought, this is just, a clusterfuck of horseshit. And I can't cope, and it just brings out the worst in me, because it's people kind of pushing their agendas. And, I wanted to write my own songs and do my own thing. And Hardcore Logo showed me that this world of independent film and acting could be great.
Listen to This on the Toddcast podcast is brought to you by Tedco RV Supplies in Langley, an ICBC-approved repair shop. Visit them on Facebook and Twitter at Tedco RV Supplies.
Until now, and the dark days they tortured me, got me buried more than 6 feet deep. It's been a slow burn of my old soul, but the devil won't look for me no more. Dressed in lace and stone for my real life. Revive. tease and not sentimental. Meet me at my disposition, dressed in lace and stone for my revival.
I think the last time we played that song on the podcast, we said it was the top 5 indie song of the summer 23 and still holds up. That is Charlie P.S. and her song is called Revival. Really looking forward to this Friday. Blue Light Studio, East Vancouver. Not only can you see Charlie P.S., but Jody Quine as well. They're both playing a Blue Light Sessions. It's Friday, September 29th. They both have a 45-minute set. As mentioned prior, intimate, interactive. We interview them during the first half of their performance. You also get to ask questions as well as part of the studio audience. If you want to come, you might want to grab a ticket right now through eventbrite.ca. It's just $20. So again, search out Toddcast Podcast. You can't miss it. It's $25 if you want to gamble. I say gamble because we only let in 60 people, 60. Grab tickets again through eventbrite.ca. 60 people. Hopefully you're one of them. All right. So we played you La Chinga. That was their new song called Light It Up. And they've played for the podcast in the past. Absolute riff lords. And you can font size that as big as you want. Holy crap, can these guys play? Perhaps we should fire up a live podcast show with those boys again. Killer live. If you ain't nodding, you ain't listening. Straight up. Speaking of live music, find a list of shows that are happening locally here in Vancouver and the area through the indie scene at toddhancock.ca. If you're playing a show, if you're going to one, if it's indie, let us know about it. We'll post it up at the website. We're literally getting thousands of visitors daily. And we don't charge anything to the bands as well for posting up there. So get some free advertising, but it's on you. It's on your band to keep me in the loop. All right? Okay, our final guest of episode 312 is Real Housewives of Toronto alum and the author of Most Hated, Cara Alloway. This week's entertainment and lifestyle guest, as always, powered by Sacred Meds, Canada's best craft cannabis and psilocybin dispensary. They will ship anywhere in Canada. Literally, you'll get there within a couple of days, all right? So keep that in mind. And a lot of people like, dude, is it just Vancouver? It's like, no, it's across Canada. Oils and hash and all kinds of edibles and peyote. What? Vapes, lollipops, shatter, and a whole bunch more. It's, of course, weed and mushrooms and everything else. At registry, mention you heard about them through this podcast. It will instantly upgrade your profile on their website and open up stuff that's not normally open. All right, sacredmeds.com. So imagine being on a reality TV show. And what a whirlwind experience that would be. Cameras capturing your every emotion, every movement, the good, the bad, the ugly, trying to navigate those waters and, the show challenges and the friendships and the conflicts. Of course, all of this within the public eye. It's a roller coaster of emotions. And great to talk to Real Housewives alum and the author, Cara Alloway, about the shock value that happens in reality TV.
The shock value stuff was me being the gym helper, like looking at the camera going, are you seeing what's going on here? Like when they take us to a plastic surgery party and everybody's drinking champagne coupes and eating mushrooms on toast while this drugged woman is walked into the room and they start doing plastic surgery on her live. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? And everybody else was like, what? It's fabulous. What's wrong with you? I was like, oh my God.
And so what was the best thing about doing that show? And what was the worst thing, do you think?
So the best thing was the platform it gave me, because it did give me, I'll say this, it gave me a great platform. All I wanted to do in the beginning, the whole reason why I got involved in it. Wait, are we doing the podcast? Is this the podcast?
We're doing it.
Okay, sorry. I'm such an idiot. My kids will laugh.
I know I call it the podcast, but I should probably just call it like the Train of Thought podcast.
It is. But that, that's a sign of a good host. You make me very relaxed. No, so I wanted to do a reality television show. I have been a mom. I was doing freelance journalism. I wasn't doing radio shows anymore because I couldn't keep up with that with 3 boys all in school, all demanding after school activities, all that. I had been a mom for maybe full time, I'd say 12 years. Okay. Like up to my eyeballs in swim lessons and all of that stuff, hockey, all of that. And I said to my husband, my eldest was going into first year university. I said, I really would love to produce a reality show because on the side, I had been involved in a lot of charity fundraisers, coordinating them, buying tables, stuff like that. And I said, this is like $1 Million Listing, but for charity events, because the stuff that goes on here is great organic conflict. You put a red carpet out in Toronto in March and it turns into a slip and slide. Or you go in the kitchen when the chef is trying to prepare 1,500 rubber chicken dinners. Like, do you know what goes on with that? Like, it's just crazy, and it's good organic conflict. So I said, this would make a great reality show. So I had no idea what I was doing. I think I Googled reality television show producers in Canada, and I found this production company. I pitched it to them, and they said, actually, it's not a bad idea for a show. But here's the thing. We're going to do Real Housewives of Toronto, and we think you should be on Real Housewives of Toronto. And I went, no, why? And they said, because it can be like your sizzle reel, and then like a la Lisa Vanderpump, you spin off into your charity show. And I was going, but I don't want to be on the show. I want to produce the show. And they said, this is a really easy way to do it. So I thought, you know what? I'm kind of bored. I had 2 friends. Bethany Frankel was an acquaintance of mine. I'm hesitant to say a friend because I'm always thinking people are going to call her and she's going to go, who the hell is Cara Alloway? But she was an acquaintance of mine. She worked at a restaurant up the street from me. Kyle Richards was a friend of mine. Kathy Hilton was a friend of mine. Kim Richards. So I knew several people that had done Housewives. I'd been around them when they were filming. I thought, I could do that with my eyes closed. And if that's what it takes, okay. My husband said, no problem, as long as me and the kids have nothing to do with it. We will not be on it. We will be nowhere near it. I said, no, of course you're not going to be anywhere near it. And then, so I said, I'll do it. So away I went to do it. So the best thing to come out of the show was that platform when the show wrapped. And I mean, the ashes were falling down all around me. I was able to make my way to Los Angeles. I got an agent to represent me as a producer. I was able to pitch my show to legitimate production companies. We did the sizzles for my show, and I was able to push that agenda forward. Furthermore, I always wanted to write a book. I always wanted to write a novel. I knew I had a novel in me, and I knew it would be dealing with female relationships because I come from a very female-centric background in the sense that, with the most respect to my father, rest in peace, and all my uncles, we are a very matriarchal family. The women rule the roost. I'm all girls, a family of all girls, all of my cousins, all girls. It's very female centric. I went to an all girls family. So I have always been really fascinated by how women relate to other women, be it my mom relating to her sister-in-law, myself relating to my female cousin, just the way women relate to each other. I knew that was my novel.
Interesting to hear how she came up with the idea to write the novel in the first place, right? The full talk with Cara is up on all of our social media accounts. It's about 45 minutes long. You can, as always, hear it and see it through our iTunes and Spotify, SoundCloud, Megaphone. All videos are up at our YouTube account. A reality TV is diverse, to say the least. You get drama, you get laughter and suspense, relatable situations, engaging programming. And we went way beyond that with Cara. We talked about seeing U2 in concert, listening to Broadway and show tunes as a kid growing up, binging cooking shows, her love of Cuban food. She talked about female misogyny and how women are tribal.
You know what I am? Can I tell you what I am? Someone, after I finished Housewives, put a book into my hand by Dr. Phyllis Chesler, who is this 80-year-old psychologist. She lives in Manhattan, and she wrote this book, Woman's Inhumanity to Woman. Should be required reading. If you have daughters, get it in their hands by the time they're 14. She spends 7 pages of her introduction apologizing to the sisterhood for writing it, which to me speaks volumes. She's that scared that she's going to offend people as a second-generation feminist that she apologizes for writing it. But within the pages of the book, she identifies something called internalized female misogyny, which when we think of misogyny, we tend to think of men not treating women in the best way possible. But there exists internalized, or I call it misplaced female misogyny, which is women acting inhumanely to other women. And it starts at 8 years old in the playground because women are tribal. Men are not tribal like this. Women are tribal, and we have a hierarchy in the playground. And the ones at the top of the hierarchy are the ones that dictate what the behavior should be, what the discussions should be, what the games should be. And then you have these people like myself, the truth tellers, the independent thinkers. Sorry, it's what I am. And how do we get punished? We get gossiped about, we get shunned, we get, slandered, all of that. So I experienced this as an adult, but it starts at 8 years old in the playground. And when I look back, I think, well, I wasn't really that much of a truth teller or independent thinker, but I was very much an observer. I can remember being 8 and sitting on a swing and seeing one girl hold a rotten apple up to another girl. And that girl that got the apple in the face disappeared from school 2 weeks later. Because I guess that was a form of bullying. I think it traumatized her. And the girl that was holding the apple up to her face was a very popular girl. I remember I didn't do anything about it, which I felt really bad about. But also I just remember observing and going, wow, look at how these girls treat each other. You better be careful, Kara. You better keep in step, because if you get out of step. And then I don't know what happened. The dam broke or something like that. Ask my husband. He's like, why? Why are you always the independent thinker? But something happened. So I brought that to Housewives, which it's interesting. Before I did the show, we did this psychological analysis. It took 3 hours. They asked us all sorts of questions. I was trying to second guess it. Oh, what are they trying to find out? And when the show wrapped, I called the firm and I said, can I get a copy of my psychological analysis? It turns out, and again, this is in the narrative of my book, the ladies on the show have to do this psychological analysis. It's to find out what your hot spots are. My hot spots were I had a big dog, but I was scared of other big dogs and highway driving. Well, if they didn't have me shoot a scene in the park with my dog and another big dog, ding, 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 and a highway driving scene, I was the only character that had to shoot a highway driving scene. So they want to know what your hot spots are. But I asked the psychological assessment firm, can I have a copy of that? And they sent it to me and said, sure, we don't care. And the very first line said, Kara Alloway has very high emotional intelligence. So fast forward to I'm in LA. As I told you, I have a producer representing me. And I'm in this how to cast reality television session that I just fell into, very fortunately, with Jonathan Murray, who is the godfather of reality television. He did The Real World. He did The Simple Life. He is reality TV's who's who A-list. And he said, when you're casting a villain, the first thing you want to look for is someone with incredibly high emotional intelligence. And I was like in the room going, oh my gosh, the writing was on the wall from day one. I was the independent thinker. I was the truth teller with the emotional intelligence. Like there was no coming back from that. I was the villain before we even started filming. I was there for it. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
I kind of feel those comments when you're thinking about reality TV and drama over substance, perpetuating stereotypes, and often lacks authenticity and promotes unhealthy competition and certainly exploits people for entertainment. And, as she's portrayed as the villain, and after talking to her and knowing full well that she's not, great to get full on with Kara as she talks about her summer plans with her family. She talked about getting mistaken for Sarah Jessica Parker. She shared a near-death story about being in a plane that was hit by lightning. We talked about deep sea fishing, how she was once the assistant West Coast editor of Allure magazine.
I love you. I'm so glad you asked me that. Let me tell you something. I was a hostess at a restaurant in Beverly Hills called the Bistro Garden. It's where Spago is now. As I said, it was down the street. Bethany was up the street at La Scala. I was down the street at the Bistro Garden. And I was a hostess and a private party coordinator. So it was a ladies who lunch restaurant, meaning we had no occupancy in the evening. It was a big lunchtime crowd.
That's
lot like
funny.
La Scala, actually.
My wife has ladies who lunch here in Vancouver.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Oh, that's fun. That's so fun.
Love it.
So we would get people like Kathy Lee Gifford. She'd come wheeling in with Cody in the stroller.
No.
We got Nancy Reagan. Oh, we had when I say the ladies who lunch, they were the ladies who lunch. But in the evening, the parties I would coordinate would be for local companies that wanted to rent out the whole restaurant, because as I said, we did not have a dinner time crowd. And one of my best clients was Condé Nast. They would have a party once a month for whoever was on the cover of Vanity Fair. So this was back in the day. I remember Ivana was on the cover in that yellow dress. It was a very iconic cover, Ivana Trump. And we had to do everything yellow. We had to do yellow linens, yellow florals. Everything had to be yellow to match her in this yellow dress. And I got really, really close with the office manager at Condé Nast. So one night we were standing there, we were doing another Vanity Fair party. I can't remember who was on the cover. I want to say someone like Tom Cruise or something. It was really cool. And I said, I always wanted to write for a magazine. It must be so cool to work. And she was like, well, actually, I'm the office manager, but I'll tell you something. I also work with hiring. So if you want to write for a magazine, send me samples of your work. No problem. Called up my mom because this was pre-internet. I know I'm dating myself, but called up my mom and said, I need some essays from university. So my mom sends me off essays. I pick Hamlet's fatal flaw of procrastination, fold it up, put it in the envelope, drop it off. She calls the next day and says, you're a jokester. I got the sample of your writing. Like, seriously? And I went, well, I've never been published, so I don't know what to send. And she said, okay, well, I'll tell you something. It's a good argument. I liked Hamlet's fatal flaw of procrastination. And we passed it around the office and we laughed. And I have a new magazine that's starting up. And the editor is Linda Wells, who is a newspaper reporter. And more than beauty experts, she wants to hire good writers. She wants to hire people who know how to take an investigative approach to the topics of fashion and beauty. And it seems like you're a good writer. It seems like you want to learn. Would you like to come and interview? So I said, sure. So literally the West Coast offices of these Condé Nast magazines are very sparse. So literally you're the assistant West Coast editor. The West Coast editor was a woman, first Peggy Orr and then later Evan Seidel. Evan Seidel was a costume designer, so she was always off working on set, and she'd just pop in maybe once every 2 weeks to say, what's happening in the West Coast? Peggy Orr was married to Eric Orr, who was a water artist, really cool. And again, she was, very busy. She'd just pop in. So I ran the West Coast offices. It was the dream job. And it was so cool because it was like this really cool high school. The girls from Vogue, Lisa Love and this other girl, they'd smoke in the hallways, and they were the really cool girls who always had like blazers with cut jeans before destroyed jeans were really in. And then there was a magazine called Self that was a fitness magazine, and those girls always showed up in workout clothes to work.
I remember that.
And they were always off to the latest workout classes. The gentleman across the hall from me worked for Condé Nast Traveler, and he had always just got back from Australia, just got back from South Africa, just got back. And he'd tell me tales of his like great trips. It was like the coolest high school ever. And the people at Allure, the funny thing, our registered trademark was we always had the whitest teeth because people were always sending us tooth whitening because it was in the early days of tooth whitening technology. So people were always sending tooth whitening creams and stuff like that. And we were always like, ultra bright smiles. That's what we were known for.
Entertainment guest visits are powered by Sacred Meds, Canada's best craft cannabis and psilocybin dispensary. Visit sacredmeds.com.
Where to go? I don't know where to go. Where to go? Ooh, lady, you know I talk mad shit. Feel like a fool lately. I don't know where I fit. Pushing in, pulling in every direction. Up on me, staying high to feed my obsession. Diving in, spinning out, lost in suspension. I wanna be where you are, keep this connection. Taking me into another world, playing along like it doesn't hurt. I wanna feel like something's real, feel like something's real. Taking me into another world, playing along like it doesn't hurt. I wanna feel like something's real, feel like something's real.
Am I in the right place at the right time? I wish sometimes I could have a bird's eye. I'm in a different time zone, gotta find a ride home. Always on my cell phone, hopping on a flight. I'm so wide-eyed, head looking for the stars, hoping they can find me, got me from afar. Oh my God, tell me where to start. Follow you around, should be following my heart. Man, I try to write it down like I'm living in a book. Haven't even read it, I'm just looking for the hook. Asking for advice, but there's just too many cooks. Yeah, I'm feeling shook, I don't know which way to look. Yeah.
Taking me into another world, playing along like it doesn't hurt. I wanna feel like something's real, feel like something's real. Taking me into another world, playing along like it doesn't hurt. I wanna feel like something's real, feel like something's real.
let's be honest, this girl does absolutely nothing wrong. Her name is Emily Chambers. A new song for her called Two Faces. Emily is from Vancouver, although she's now based out of Nashville, Tennessee. So I guess she's kind of from Nashville now, right? Where she has become, of course, part of their local scene, and lucky for them. She is such a talented artist. Has played a couple times for the podcast over the years. If you hear of her playing anywhere near you, make the effort to be there, all right? She will blow you away. Again, my name is Todd Hancock. Thank you so much for coming along for the ride this week. You will love what we have planned next. Seven Dust singer LaJohn Witherspoon is a guest.
Man, all right, man, I'll tell you what. I'm mad at Chad just a little bit because he just needs to take Seven Dust back out on the road with them again, man. We have so much fun, and I love Chad. He is just the funniest brother. He's good. We were lucky enough. I happened to be off, and I think Daughtry's out on tour with them, and I think the Goo Goo Dolls or something like that. Okay. And they played Kansas, and Chad invited us out. And me and the wife, I got to bring I think my daughter's like kindergarten teacher, and she was just like, I don't care about Seven Dust. This is a Nickelback, and oh my God, Chris Daughtry. It was great, and we laughed and laughed. And Chad he's so generous. I remember him saying, yeah, man, you guys take off and just come on the jet and blah blah blah. You guys can go to the house, and I think what was it, Sammy Hagar's his neighbor or something. And I'm like, wow, thanks. You know what I mean? Take us back out on tour. I want to go on tour with Nickelback again. Just always been just the coolest guys. And I love Theory of the Dead Man too. Econoline Crush. I love that band growing up.
Oh, Econoline. What is that? This is Chad Kruger's jacket.
No way.
Yeah, I was out partying with him one night, like a long time, 15 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And I constantly wear hoodies, right? I'm a t-shirt, jeans, hoodie guy, right? But ball cap most times.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, dude, like, why do you always wear hoodies, man? Like,
I don't know why.
That's why. Like, I don't know. He's like, you got to have a nice jacket. And he gives me the jacket. I'm like, dude, I'm not taking your jacket. He's like, I'm not taking it back. It's yours now.
No way. What awesome.
So I tried to leave it, and he's like, threw it at me as I'm leaving at the end of the night. And so there you go. I have it. He's a super generous guy, man.
Yeah, man. Me and him are still trying to write a song, man, for my solo stuff. I hope that one of these days we have the time to get together to write, because I know we said we were going to do it, and I just know that that's going to be a magical experience together, man. Just some cool brothers writing some music. We'll get down.
Yeah, he's got some songwriting chops.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, have you ever been to the house before in Canada?
Yeah, many times. Yeah, Chad and I go back till
that is so cool. If you do talk to him, you tell him I said what's up and I miss him.
I will, man. I will for sure.
I do have his number, but I don't like to bother people. I'm just
I'm the same way, man.
You know what I mean?
Last night I found some Nickelback rollies, and I texted him. Hey Chad, check out, Get Rolling. Haha. Here, check out what I found. He writes back, nice.
There you are. That's awesome. Right on. But you should, after this, you say, LJ told me to tell you he loves you.
And I did, and Chad texted back a heart emoji. So joining LaJohn from Seven Dust next week is WBFF pro and Hitch Fit owner Diana Chalot, and funny guy, comedian Byron Kennedy is on next week. Of course, big thanks to all of our guests this week. Blackstone Cherry guitarist Ben Wells, dude, thank you for your time, man. Excited for you guys to put out the album so we can get it on repeat. BC Lions wide receiver Lucky Whitehead, it was a pleasure. Thank you for your time as a longtime fan. It was great to meet you. And Real Housewives of Toronto alum and author Cara Alloway, thank you for taking the time to join us. It was a pleasure to talk. And that's going to do it for this one, episode 312. If you like what you heard, please tell your friends. Again, we're part of the Realm.fm network. You can subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, Megaphone, SoundCloud, YouTube, comment, and rate the podcast. That helps out with the search results. Thank you to our wonderful sponsors. As always, you can find links to all sponsor websites at toddhancock.ca. If you'd like to sponsor the podcast with your business, you can for as little as $10 a day. Contact info is at the homepage. Maybe we'll hang out, have a coffee, have a beer, and see what's up. And if you help us find a sponsor, as always, we will give you a commission. Make some scratch listening to the podcast. Why not? All right, until next time, don't be an asshole. Nobody wants to be around that. Have fun, play hard, and most of all, believe in yourself.
You've been listening to the Toddcast podcast, powered by Citywide Mortgage Services, dedicated to helping you find the best mortgage rates. Available 7 days a week at citywidemortgage.ca.
Goodbye, Kyle. Did the sound of those words call to you like Pavlov's dog? Then you might enjoy our podcast, Turtle Time.
Every week, you can join me, Riley Hamilton, and my co-host, Amy Scarlatta, as we cover the most pressing Bravo news and dig into the new episodes to answer important questions like, who the hell is Adrian Malouf in this world?
Listen to Turtle Time on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. New episodes every Wednesday and Friday.
Do you ever watch a TV show set in a historical time period and think, how accurate is this really? But also, does it matter if it's accurate or not?
Nefr-TV is a new podcast about shows set in ancient times. This season, we're recapping every episode of the show Spartacus, Blood and Sand.
I'm Ann Foster, and I have never seen this show before.
And I'm Gina Berry, and I have watched this show maybe too many times.
Join us every other Monday on the Nefr-TV podcast as we discuss the real history behind Spartacus, Blood and Sand.
Follow Nefr-TV, that's NEFER-TV, wherever you get your podcasts.
Now, before you go hunting for something else to listen to, let me make it easy. I'm Mike Carruthers, host of a podcast called Something You Should Know, and I speak with experts about fascinating things that affect your life, from human behavior, relationships, health, science, and everyday mysteries. We've been downloaded millions of times because every episode teaches you something you'll be talking about later. Open up Something You Should Know and give it one episode. You might just find your new favorite podcast.